Hello Flosstube, my name is Kristen. If you are new here, this is a channel about cross stitch, and if you're returning, thank you very much for coming back. Today is January 1st. Full disclosure, I've done this video already. I did over an hour and didn't realize my battery died on my Chromebook because I forgot to plug it in. Also, last night was New Year's Eve. I stayed up too late and I accidentally had coffee on the way home from a trip that we did that was supposed to be decaf and it wasn't. So I am just gonna try to get this done as quickly as I can because I have things I have to do tonight and I didn't want to wait another day to do it. So I am going to first show the winner for my Christmas giveaway. And the winner is Valerie at merpaxvv. So if you can give me your information, you can send it to me on my email. I will send that out to you. And I will screenshot the winner on here somewhere. Okay, so you're going to have to forgive me because it's just usual for me. How many times have I had to do these over and over again and I forget what I've said in one video versus the other. We'll just see how we do. So I am going to start with, I'm going to start with haul. I almost forgot that I had haul. Yep, hold on. I'm going to start with my finish. So I did finish P51's Mustang from Avid Stitch, which I stitched on 18 count Wispy Clouds from Sunflower Printed Fabrics. This is a gift for my husband for Christmas. It's not my best framing job. I still have to neaten up the back, which I had to do in with paper on the back. But he's happy with it. I'm happy with it. And all is well. So that's good. Okay, and I've got things all over the place because, as I said, I've done this once before, and this was the leftover floss I had from that kit. Granted, the fabric they sent in the kit was 14 count, and I did do 18 count, so I would have had a little extra anyway, but they were pretty generous with their floss. So if you ever want to stitch something from Avid Stitch, do not be afraid of the kits. So, my Christmas haul. My husband cleared out my 1, 2, 3 stitch wish list. So, sorry, my hair, because I've been running around, is just gone like poof. So I've got the Tree of Hope, a Mirabilia, and I am going to, I plan to just stitch it as charted, although I was playing with the fabric viewer, and I think I might want to do it on like a dark navy background. It looked pretty, and I might not do the beads, just because I think there's just a lot going on, and I may just stitch it without, see what I think, and either add it or sub out the just some color of floss instead of beads, but we'll see whenever I get to that. And then I got my first Big Toe Designs, and this is He First Loved Us. This is a cute one, small, it's like 70 by 70, and I also got the Called For fabric and 5 Gentle Arts overdyed. Kind of fan them out here, which I think are really pretty. They're like just like smoky, dusky colors. I think they're pretty. And I also got Modern Folk Embroideries, the Mayari Tapestry, which, as you can tell, is the Lord of the Rings. This is Elvish, and this is a part of a poem that J.R.R. Tolkien wrote. And I believe this is just the first few lines of the poem. And I'm going to do this 1/1 on 28 count. This is Lugana, Picture This Plus, in the color Dusk, which has some kind of like green hues to it. And then I chose, just going to put this up here, I chose a Threadworks overdyed. That's like a green, I don't think it's going to show on there. There's green and there's little tinges of blue in there as well, which I thought would look nice. And it just reminded me of some of the dresses that the elves wear in the movies. So I thought that would look pretty. I might do this as my birthday start this year. Or not. We'll see. Okay, so last month you guys voted for me to do full coverage, and I did my Thread Geeks designs. So I am going to just pull from piles, which I'm just surrounded by piles right now. And I'm going to try to get through them fairly quickly without making this too long. And my apologies, I'm going to try not to crinkle, but I didn't dare take everything out. So I worked on Outlander, This I am doing on 28 count, 2 over 1 half cross. And on this one, I did 807 stitches, which brought me to 7.85% out of 75,816 stitches. I did mostly work in her hair. I actually did pretty good with my stitching this month for the number of things I stitched on. This was a new start. This is Alchemical Wedding. Which I'm doing on 28 count Lugana. And I'm doing all CXC flosses on this one. And I stitched 738 stitches. Whoops. This is a big one. This is 0.42% out of 176,900 stitches. Of course, it's a holiday, everybody's home, and because I'm having to do this twice, I just ran out and gave my husband some dinner preparation to do. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it will go fine. He's more than capable. Oops. And then I also worked on my Chocolate Lab in the Snow, which I did 500 stitches on this one, which brought me to 3.18%, which is Chocolate Lab. Where are you? I wrote down all my stats for my pattern keeper this year. 4.03% of 58,968 stitches, and this is 1 over 1 on 25 count. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody forgets I'm recording again and just flings that door open. So we'll see what happens. Oops, sorry. I unzipped everything but didn't take everything out because in the past that's not gone well for me. Especially with these massive piles I have. So I also worked on Love and Valor. And if you happen to watch this within the next couple of days, there is a ThreadGeek sale. I think it's buy 2, get 2 free. Which I am not doing because I have way more than I'm ever going to live to stitch. I did 371 stitches, and I am doing this 1 over 1 on 28 count. And oops, I worked on some of this area. I figured I should probably try to start pulling this together. I think I started over here, and then I worked over because I wanted to see the detail in the face, which I think looks fine. So I thought it might be best to start to fill some of that in. And that is 10.54% of 81,648 stitches. Okay. And then I also worked on, because it was Christmas, I worked a few days on Joan Elliott's Madonna and Child, which was a kit. And I'm using all the flosses that came with it, but I got a piece of After the Rain by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, minus the raindrops, because it's hand painted. And I had done a center start and then worked my way up to just the top of her veil because I wanted to make sure I placed her right. And so I spent time on the rest of her veil and some of her hair. This is a cool fabric. So some of the leaves, there's a few falling leaves. But because this chart also has some birds, I think I'm probably not going to do the beads. And the birds, I'll have to change the color of the leaves because I think it's going to blend into that fabric. I just didn't think that the raindrops were, I thought it would just be too much. And she was very nice to customize it. That's 28 count linen. No, 28 count Lugana. And then this has been my full coverage focus piece for a while. This is John Shannon's Mini Day Night, which I did only a couple of days, but I did manage to get 724 stitches, which brought me to 24.62% out of, I wrote it, 79,158 stitches. is 1/1 on 25 count. The only reason I was able to get that many stitches in 2 days was because I got back in here and did a lot of the blocks. I haven't decided what my full coverage focus piece will be for the year. I kind of want to do one of my Thread Geeks one because this has been my Heaven and Earth has been my focus piece for a while, but we'll see. Okay, so that's all I stitched on in the month of December. So excuse me, I'm going to be back and forth around piles. So I'm going to show you the dragons I'm going to stitch on for the month of January because that's what you guys voted for me to work on. And there will be a few new starts in this one. Celestial Dragon by Joan Elliott, which I don't know if you can tell in here, but this is border, which I'm not going to stitch. And I'm doing everything called for except I subbed out some of the Krennics for Petite Treasure Braid, and I'm going to stitch that on the other half of my piece of Hyacinth by Cross Stitch Boutique, which is 28 count linen. I think I mentioned before the other half I used for Lilith, but this had some black and darker colors, which I thought looked more spacey. I've had that one kitted up for a while, so I'm kind of excited and terrified of how many. I counted when I pulled all these out and unzipped them. It's like, I don't know, 50-something charts. Okay, and then we're going to do Shiny Suns 3 baby dragons, which will be another new start, which I'm doing on black even weave. And I'm going to not stitch some of like the background black and see if that helps me finish it in my lifetime, which I'm not going to show you because it's just black and boring. And I am going to work on my Ink Circles Elemental Dragons Earth, which on this one I am going to tell you in a second. Where is it? That's air. Ink Circles Earth. I am 29.63% out of 6,177 stitches, and I am doing this on a Picture This Plus 18 count. They're all on 18 count, all my elemental dragons. This is Jade, and I'm using the Weeks Dye Works. It's kind of like a brown variegated floss. And that's a little bit. Ooh, we got some stuff hanging there. That's pretty close to the color. And then I'm also, for my 4th dragon, going to start the only one I haven't started yet, which is Elemental Dragons Water, which I am going to do on Chromatic Alchemies Cumulus, something like that. This is one of those colors that doesn't show up well in this light. It's blue, like baby blue, and I'm going to use Weeks Dye Works Peacoat, which is like, it's like a blue and green kind of a color, but I thought that would look cool. So those are the dragon charts I'm going to start, or, well, most of them are new starts for January. And like I said earlier, I haven't decided what my focus full coverage or my focus non-full coverage will be for 2025. I'll figure it out by that time. So then we have choices for you, so you can vote on what you want me to stitch on in February. And the 2 groups that also got votes were Month of Movies and another fantasy group. So I'm going to show you all of those. So excuse me while I reach forward here. So if you wanted me to work on the fantasy charts, those would include Bella Filipina's Mayari, which I'm going to stitch on 28 count linen from Picture This Plus in the color Phantom. Which, I mean, that looks cool, but it does have purples in there, which isn't, the camera's not really picking up. But I think I mentioned last time, I've been looking at that fabric for a long time. I was super happy to find something for me to have a reason to buy it. And then I would also stitch on Celtic Twilight, Another Joan Elliott. Which my plan is to not stitch this border on this one either. So I'm going to stitch her and then see what I think. And if I want to add it, of course I can add it. This was a kit. I'm using all the flosses that came with it. And I switched out to Picture This Plus Lugana in the color Barnwood. And this is where I am on her. I think she's going to pop pretty nicely on that. We will see. Okay, and continuing with the fantasy ones, I would also pull out, I'm trying not to crinkle, Avatar by Black Swan, which I am doing on a 28 count linen in the color, I believe it's Nordic Blue. There we go. This is the right orientation. This one's been fun to stitch on. Oops. I didn't count my WIPs the last time I did a WIP parade, which I think I did probably about 6 months ago. But I know over the last few months I've got a lot of new starts, so it's a little intimidating. Then, if we did pick fantasy, it would also be a new start with Magnificent Wizard Dimensions Gold. This is a kit. And I'm just going to stitch with everything that came in the kit, which I just stuck in a little project bag. So those would be the ones I would stitch on if you choose the month of fantasy. And if you chose the month of movies, then it would be... Oop, hold on a second. Alien by Charting Creations. This is also a kit that I bought back in 2020, I believe. And I am doing this one 2 over 1.5 cross, which was not a great choice for this chart because it's just so much confetti, and I have a harder time with that when I don't know, when I'm stitching half cross. So usually I start over here and try to fill in some of this, and then I freak out and I get tired of changing colors, and then I come over here and try to pick some solid stuff. So on this one, I am 8.69% out of 146,800 something stitches. He's cool. And then I would do Magic Castle by Owl and Thread. Which is a Hogwarts. Whoops, sorry about that. Hogwarts chart, which does obviously have a full crescent moon here. It's just the printer didn't print it. I think this is my birthday start. This might be my birthday start last year. And I'm just doing this on a gray 18 count Lugana, which I don't super love. I should have washed it because it's stiff, and ugh. That's where I am on that. This, oh, I think I have this one too. This I am 3.11% done out of 25,394 stitches. Right. And then 2 more for the month of movies would be, and if I forget a fabric or a designer and you're curious, just leave me a comment or email me and I will give you the information. This is the first edition book cover for The Princess Bride, which I dyed fabric because this has, I will tell you, this has 48,927 stitches. 26,900 of those are that red color. And I opted to not stitch that. So I dyed a fabric, and I right now, well, the number's not right because this says I'm 2.3% done, but obviously it will be, the number would be different if I took out all those red stitches, which I should just do in Pattern Keeper, and then I'll know exactly where I'm at. That's where I am on that. And that is probably, the camera doesn't pick up the reds really well. A little bit different tone than what you guys can see. This is 18 count Nita. Right, and last but not least, if we pick the month of movies, it would also be Dusky Stitches Hobbit Door. I'm stitching on an 18 count Ada from Fabric Flare, but I don't know the color. I tried to figure it out and I couldn't. There's a lot of greens on their website, and I am converting it to browns. I can't tell you how much I've done on that because I have it on my crappy tablet on Markup RXP, and I haven't started it up for a while. I was hoping I could put that program on my Chromebook, but I couldn't, so that's a bummer. Okay, so those would be, if you can vote between those two for me to stitch on in February. If I don't get any votes, then I'll just spin the wheel and that'll help me decide. And I'm going to, reach across and just kind of stick these over here. Okay, so I'm just going to start pulling off all these piles. So we're going to get through the rest of my WIPs, which I'll just start with these. This is in no particular order. They're all over the place, especially because I did this once already. And this is the Hamsa Hand by Alice Allen, another Etsy designer. This I was making for a member of the family, but I just haven't. I also didn't realize it was this big. It's bigger than I guess I didn't really look at the stitch count, but I think the colors look nice on the black. Now that I think about it, I think it's been so long since I stitched on this, I don't even think I have it in Pattern Keeper on my Chromebook. I'm gonna have to upload it again, so I can't tell you how much I've done there, which is kind of a scary thought. This is my only on-the-go chatelaine, which is a small one. This is Mini Mandala Mystery 1. I'm just doing it on a navy linen. I'm not doing any of the specialty flosses. I just got all the DMC. I did get the bead pack from European Cross Stitch, and I just grabbed a Krennic that I think I had. I don't remember. So not too bad. This, again, is kind of like a practice piece for me because I do have the Deep Blue Sea all kitted up, but I'm a little scared of all the specialty stitches. So I don't remember what they're called. It's been so long. It might be Rhodes. But it's going to take me some practice on all of these. I do like the sparkle, though. It's pretty. I put a little green stitch up here so I know which way is up. Excuse me. All right, and slide that in here. I hope these bags aren't too noisy. I'm trying really hard not to be obnoxious. This was just some of these small ones, and it's not going to be the end of the world if I don't finish them. This is Stranger Things, Hellfire Club. So that, if you're not familiar with the show, the kids in the show are in a D&D club, and this is the name of their D&D club. And this was free. I can't remember at the time. I don't remember where. I saw it in a Facebook group, and yeah, I had the fabric, I had all the flosses, and it didn't cost me anything, so I thought that would be fun to work on. So I haven't worked on this in years. I might take it out sometime this year when that show is back on. That's another one I think I have on my tablet. But I don't think I used markup for that. I think I may have just used, I think I was practicing with a different program that I thought I could use for the chatelaine, the big chatelaine, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm going to have to find that again. Although that's not going to be that hard for me to figure out where I'm at. This is Stitch Fusion's Alien Tracker, which on this one, I am 39.54% done out of 7,550 stitches. And I am doing this on 18 count Shale from Picture This Plus. The last time I took it out, I finished this alien, and we'll work on this one next time. I liked this because I wanted it to look almost kind of like dingy, and I just thought that would look good with that. Made me think of Alien and dingy spaceships. And slide that in there. And I think that's all I had in that pile. So I'm just going to kind of toss this over here. And my goodness, we're just going to pull off this pile. Okay. This is the only fabric that I decided to grid myself when I discovered that gridding was a thing. And I did a terrible job. It was really heavy on the washable pen, and it's not even a full coverage. Like, I don't know why I did it, but this is Custom Crafts Little Snapdragon. I have not worked on this one in a very long time. There's a lot that I haven't worked on in a long time. This usually sits at my parents' house, and I used to take it out when I would go up there. Then I started bringing things with me. So I've got 3 charts that sit up there that have had no love in a long time. This is a Country Mocha. This is a Ada. Might be 18 count. It might be 14 count. I'm not even sure. I have to look closer. But the wings are done. I think they're pretty. I think he or she is super cute. And I can hear my husband coming down the hall. Hopefully he does not barge open the door. Okay, and this is the kit that I bought. It's Jesus. I'm just using everything that came in the kit. I don't love the Ada. I thought it would look a little bit nicer with a linen or a Lugana, but the way that it blends the colors into the fabric, I was afraid I would screw it up, so I'm just going with what came with it. This is one of the other ones at my parents' house that I haven't touched in a very long time. And so is this next one. This is my only stamped project. I have no name, designer name. It was a kit that I got on Amazon, and it's just like an abstract sunflower. Not sure if I'm digging the 11 count. It's 11 count, so it's three strands. But I did finish the center area, this whole center area, and then I've got some seeds to fill in here, and then I started on some of the orange that sneaks out there. I don't mind it. It's just, it's really thick. Sometimes it's hard to push through, and the symbols are sometimes a little off-centered to the squares, so that can be a challenge. The flosses are nice. This is just, they're just yummy. They feel nice. So they didn't, at least it doesn't feel like cheap floss. All right. Sorry, I'm moving slow because I'm trying to not be crinkly and annoying. This is, I don't have a face sheet for this one. This is a Lord of the Rings chart. This is charcoal Lugana, and I'm using DMC glow in the dark thread. And this is the door to the Mines of Moria. If I can find the information in the picture, I will put it up here somewhere. If not, it means I didn't find it or I just gave up. I just put the video out the way it is. We'll see. All right. Oh, now we have, this was new within the last couple of months. This is Laura Latuda's Winter Fairy Spirit, which I thought would look nice with Mirabilia's Midsummer Night's Fairy. So I'm doing it on a similar linen, just a natural linen. And sorry, I have to fold them and unfold them because I try to fold it with the stitch side in. That way it's kind of protected in the craft bag, in the project bag. So that's probably a little bit closer to the color. So because the white does stick out, like the fabric looks lighter there, but that one was fun. You know how some charts are just easier to stitch on? No. Oops. That's not going to go in there easy, so we're just going to stick it here. And then we have Black Swans, Lily Pond Dreams, which was, well, whenever I did my month of fantasy one, I started this one. And this is just on an even weave, 28 count. There's a lot going on in that chart, so I didn't want to get too fancy with the fabric. It's just a lot going on with the flowers and the butterflies and her wings, which are all metallics. I just didn't want to take away from any of that. So that's the little start that I have here. All right, we are plugging through. And oh, one more in this pile. This is John Shannon's Mini Night Day. So this is the sister chart to my Mini Day Night. On this one, I am 2.65% done out of 74,750 stitches. I'm also doing this one 1/1 on 25 count. I did start this one actually a couple of times because I played with half cross and then I played with 28 count, and then I just thought it would be best if they were close to the same size. So I just went back to 1/1 for 25 count. So little baby start on that. Okay, that is that stack. So we're gonna just move on to another stack. I hope that doesn't fall over. Okay, we're just gonna grab it. All right, and this is my only stitch along, which I'm not stitching along anymore because it's over, and I'll have to, again, if I manage it, I'll put a picture in here somewhere of what it looks like because it's all completed now, so that will be. This is on an 18 count Ada that I dyed. It took me, I actually ruined a couple pieces that just came out funky, but I thought this was pretty decent. So that's where I am on that. I can't remember even how many sections of the stitch along there were. I did not finish the frame. I wanted to get to some of the other ones, so I got the eel done and some of the angry fishes. Angry fish? Angry. That's a lionfish, I think. Anyway. Yes, I heard some banging out there, which I believe was just my husband. He's making some pasta out there. Oops. Some flosses. I believe this is Godzilla from Dots and Spots shop on Etsy. I think there was like a buy two get one free. So I got this one, I got a Walking Dead one, and then I got a Baby Groot, which I had not started, and I don't know if I ever will. But on this one, I'm 10.59% done out of 11,508 stitches. This red does not show up well on this. It's really a darker, deeper red. But at least I finally got to some spines last time, so I know which way is up. Because before, I couldn't figure it out. I did figure it out eventually, but I was so scared I was going to stitch it the wrong way. I have a couple of those just monochrome, one color. Don't have to think so much. Oh, this packet's got a couple in it. So this is Mirabilia's Australian Retreat Dragonfly, which used to be a freebie. I'm not sure if you can still get it. And I am stitching it on 28 count Lugan in the color Sage. And I did have a whole skein of water lilies that I didn't need for Lilith. So I'm using different water lilies than I called for. Actually, I called for 2 water lilies. I swapped out that one, and then the other one I'm just trying to pull out colors out of stash and make it make sense. I did have fun stitching on that. And these is just all beads in here. Yeah, there's a lot of beads on this one. I think that's pulling that out pretty well. It's just a light green. And I also, these were new. I think I started these both the same month. I did one of my month of Mirabilias. This is still available on the website. This is Peacock. I thought it would look nice on a dark purple. I thought that the white peacock would pop. So I dyed a piece of Lugana. The only trouble I'm hitting is that the legs are kind of, lost in the dark. Whoops. This way. Sorry. Well, I'm going to fold that one more time. Whoops. All right, I fold it this way. So, see these little blue legs? So I might Well, I'm definitely gonna either have to frog them, and maybe I'll use like the light green instead, or just maybe I'll do some lighter backstitching around it or something. But yeah, you totally can't see the legs. But I like the way the other colors look. All right, and this out not too long ago. This is Lavender and Lace's Firefly Fairies, which I am stitching on a Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers in the color Amazing Grays, which I am not doing the dyed Starburst because I know me and I would ruin this beautiful fabric, and I like the ombre, and I think that their wands will pop up in the dark area anyway, so I think it'll be okay. And I did work on a bunch of the blue fairy last time I took it out. Okay. And, oh, yep, I got another one. This is, whoops, I actually have the book here. This was a new start a couple months ago again. Was my month of Teresa Wentzler, which is Unicorn. This is out of the book, The Best of Teresa Wentzler Fantasy Collection 1. I think it doesn't say 1, but I know there's a 2. So I got a tiny bit of a start. I started on his head, which was the center. Oops, I'm about to lose him. And this is just a black even weave. And that's where I am. Little bitty start. A lot of these are just little bitty starts. Alright, and I do believe that is that whole pile. Oh, that's good. We're just going to stick that there. Alright. This is, I have a few self-charted projects. This is Jaws, which I did on Floss Cross. I've started this one. This is the second start on this one. And I'm doing a white fabric, not gridded, and I'm not stitching this whole section of white. And on this one, I have done 0.89% out of 66,590 something stitches. Which is my little bitty start. Oops, I'm going to flip that. Oh, come on now, you open up. All right, this is another one. This one, so if you've watched me in the past, I've talked about Walking Dead, and when my son was old enough to watch, we got really into it, and he and I spent quite a few years going to lots of Comic-Cons and Walker Stalker Cons, and he looks like this actor, so he used to dress up like him, and we've met a lot of the cast, and it was just a really fun time and special memories for us, so I thought that I would try to find a Carl and stitch it, obviously. And I love this artwork. I have some of the prints, and I did actually ask the artist if it would be okay for me to use it for my own use only, and he was very nice. He actually sent me the PDF to make it easier, but it's huge. And I did this one on Threadbare because I just couldn't get it to not look pixelated and weird on, I think I tried Pick-to-Pat and Floss Cross, but you know, I'm not exactly a professional charter, so it's huge. This one is 385,000 stitches. I'm doing 28 count 1/1, and I am 0.33% done. Of course, it would help if I actually stitched on it. I haven't taken it out in a long time. Look at the size of this thing. This thing's just huge. I don't have all the flosses for it or anything. I grabbed what I had in stash, and then I just got what I needed to work in the particular area, which is just a center start. So I'm right in this little green area. That's the start. Seemed like a good idea at the time. So we'll see. Oh, I gotta fold this thing up. Of course, if I ever do live long enough to finish it, the size it would be, I don't know. Can't even imagine what the framing would be. Oops, that did not fold very well. That's going to be really thick. That one I'm going to leave out and do this later. So this was a little, this might be another one that I, you know what, whether I finish it or not, I don't really care. I was stitching on this when my son was in Drive Red. This is the freebie snowman from Soda Stitch. He was cute. And I just used remnants. This was a piece I had left over from a Schitt's Creek project. It's just opalescent raw Ada. And I just pulled out what I had in stash for the colors. He's cute. I didn't stitch on him at all this year because honestly, I kind of forgot that I had him. And this, I believe, is a Heaven and Earth Quick Stitch by Amy Stewart, Phantom of the Opera. Which this is the one and only one that I started from the right, and I'm still not sure why. I think I wanted to get to the chandelier. The only reason I can figure I did that. This is another 2/1 half cross on 28 count. And on this one, I am 3.6% done out of 115,500 stitches, which I'm not sure how that's a quick stitch. But, well, I suppose the main chart that this was taken out of is probably who knows how big. So that's where I am on that. The nice thing is when I am done with this, dinner will be done. I am getting hungry. So this is another Thread Geeks. Wait a minute. No, this isn't Thread Geeks. I'm sorry, I showed you all my Thread Geeks. This is my only full-size Heaven and Earth Hold True, which I'm just up in this section. And on this one, I am, where are you? I am 3.92% done out of 190,800 stitches. This is 28 count. I'm doing 1/1 on, I know I stitched the border wrong, so whatever. Monaco. That's where I am on that. This, I have all CXC flosses for this. They're thicker. 28 count wasn't a good idea. But now that I have my flat iron, I think when I take it out next time, it's going to go a little bit better. And I think that's all of that pile. Okay. I got 2 piles over here. I'm just going to grab this one. All right. This is, I believe this is my last self-charted project. This I did on Pick to Pat. This is getting beaten up. Squishy. This is Hermit Island's Anchor. Hermit Island is the campground in Maine that we spent a lot of time, or at least we try to go every year when the kids are small. We haven't been for a few years. This is like one of those places where everybody gets their kids to sit on it and you take pictures. And, you know, so we have pictures over the years and they got bigger. And I just thought it would be super cool to have. So I started in the center, so we've got a little bit of the anchor. I really want to start here and then see what the definition of the trees looks like, because if it's just crap, I just won't finish it. But this is another big one. This one is, where are you? 270,800 stitches, and I am 0.45% done. This is 25 count. Sorry, I had to compare it to a 28 count one. 25 count, easy count, 1/1. Yeah, it goes this way. So it's just a little bit of the anchor. I have to look back in Pattern Keeper. It's been a really long time since I took that one out. And that's what happens when you have 50-something WIPs. Good grief. Oops. I am not folding this very well. We're going to just do this. Sorry, this one's going to be crinkly. I can't help it. All right, this is a Lady Whistle Down chart, which I don't have a face sheet for, just because I don't think it had one. This is Lady Whistledown Society Papers. It's just on a cream Lugana. So it says Society Papers down here, like the cover. If you watch Bridgerton, it's like the cover of that sheet that she writes. And then there's like its overarching, pretty purpley blue flowers, whatever the flowers are that hang off the Bridgerton house. That probably won't see the light of day until the next season comes, which is probably not for another year. Another one that, if I do it or not. Well. Okay. All right, we're getting there. Again, we're getting there. I think because I went through this already, just looking at this book here, I feel like I'm missing one that might be in a drawer that I'm not digging it out now. You guys have seen it recently. The Princess and the Dragon. I don't think I have out. This is Mirabilia's The Kiss. I am doing this on all the called for fabric flosses. The only thing that I did convert were the Mill Hills to Delicas, with the help of Sharky Stitcher, because I know she knows a lot about Delicas, and she was very kind to get back to me very quickly with what I needed to get. This fabric doesn't show up on this camera very well. This is Apple Blossom, 28 count linen, that I actually found on Etsy. And I have a pretty decent chunk of them done. Even when I hold it back, it doesn't show the tones. It's like I don't know, it's a richer is the right word, but it's just like a deeper pink. Let's see if I can get this the way I had it. What? Alright, there's only a few left. We're getting there. This is Tilton Crafts Beauty and the Beast 2017. And on this one, it would have helped if I put these in alphabetical order. 5.96% done out of 122,500 stitches. 1/1 full cross on 25 count. Last time I took this out, I was so tired of blue, I just kind of worked my way over to Belle's head so I could have something a little more interesting to look at. I don't know if you can hear that timer, but it sounds like my husband set the oven and it's beeping, and it's just beeping, so I'm not really sure what that means, but this is a mashup of Teresa Wensler's dragons, little dragons. This is on a 28 count Lugana that I just dyed into like a, I don't know, what kind of a color you want to call that. And I started with stretch and made a mistake and freaked out and came up and just started working on Future Cast, and I've worked on him a couple times. I also have a rampant that I flipped so the two of them can look at each other. And hopefully I will figure him out. I'm sure I'll figure out something. And then they each have their own borders, of course. I liked Rampant's border best, probably because it's purple. And I thought, depending on how I feel when I'm done with them all, I may stitch that border around all of them, or I may just mat it and frame it. But who knows when that will be. So we'll just... I'm not sure if you can still get them. They were the freebie dress. I don't think you can get them anymore, actually. And this, I'm going to bend down for a second, sorry. This is Teresa Wensler's The Storyteller. I found a copy of this over the summer and was super happy. And I am stitching it on an opalescent, just a white opalescent. This is just a little bitty baby start on this. That's where I am. All right. I'm laughing because I still hear that thing buzzing out there. Oh, okay. This is The Walking Dead by Dots and Spots Shop, which I'm doing on a Picture This Plus Lugana in the color, I think this one's Heritage, which I know I have the sticker on here somewhere. It is, yep, Heritage. And on this one I am 18.47% done out of 28,437 stitches. That looks a little closer. I think the coverage is good. I've been happy with that so far. I like the fabric. I just like the way it feels. And I was looking for almost like a mildewy kind of color. Just the, apocalyptic, dingy kind of color. And then this packet also has this one. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish. It was just the chart of the moon that I found on Etsy, and this fabric, which I really do like, was from Ship's Manor. I think it's Abracadabra. I'd have to look. If you really want to know, let me know, and I'll figure it out. I was just gonna UFO this and not finish it because I've made enough mistakes that I'm not sure it still looks like the actual moon. This is my first time stitching 2/2. So I think I just had a hard time counting. I don't even know which way is up. I think it goes this way. Whoop. Oh, sorry, my phone's beeping. I should just finish it because I'm close and I don't want to waste the fabric because I really did like the fabric. But that one might have been taken out in a very long time. Yep. That might have been all of them. I might have got through that pretty quick. I think I did. Like I said, well, it might not really be all of them because I know Princess and the Dragon we didn't show, but I've showed that in the last couple of months because I can't remember, a couple months ago was my Teresa Once month. Okay, those are all my WIPs. I got through it. The camera didn't die. We're in good shape. And so if you guys could vote for what you want me to stitch for February. We've got the month of fantasy or the month of movies. And whichever you vote for, or if I don't get any votes, I'll just spin the wheel and we'll pick. And whatever doesn't get voted or I don't stitch on in February, I'll stitch on in March, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do after that. So that's that. I got through it. I hope that you all have a good New Year, Happy New Year, all that good stuff, and I will see you in February. Bye!